right, we are live on Facebook, the Sculpt to Fit Facebook page. This is Joey Atlas, and I'm here with Coach Madi.
Hello.
She is my co-host for episode number 13 on the Wellness and Weight Loss for Women podcast. We're getting mic'd up with our wireless wired mics. We're going to get the audio app in gear here, and then we'll do a re-intro. So, this is Joey Atlas and my co-host, who?
Coach Madi.
Coach Madi here at the Sculpt to Fit studio, bringing you Wellness and Weight Loss for Women podcast and video show, episode number 13. Madi, what are we talking about today?
Fascia.
Fascia. We're talking about the fascia or the fascia, depending on how you want to pronounce it or say it. And so for audio listeners, just understand we've got the Candid Cam going. We're streaming as we shoot this in real time on our Facebook Live page, which will eventually be turned into a YouTube video that we will post on our video page on YouTube, repost on Facebook so that people can watch this over and over and share it, and we can put it on our blog and all that good stuff. So first and foremost, if you're watching on the video, you will notice that we are coming to you from a slightly different location on this episode. We are actually in the front reception area of the studio because we actually had some personal training sessions going overtime inside the studio. So we decided to take our mobile podcast and video show up to the reception area. So that's what you're seeing now. And real quick, if you're local and you want to come check us out, either for our small group classes, our one-on-one personal training, even massage therapy, or if you have somebody else in the family who might need us, such as a youth who wants to do proper sports conditioning, you can look into that with us as well. Just go to Sculpt to Fit on Facebook, or you can go to sculptofit.com. That's SCULPTAFIT, sculptofit.com, or Sculpt to Fit on Facebook. Or if it's during reasonable hours, you can call or text the studio line, and you'll most likely get Nikki at 904-891-3680. And if you're long distance, of course, you're still going to get a lot of good info today. What we share is universal, and everybody can benefit from. Both male, female, young and old, doesn't matter. If you want to get some of our freebies, just go to fitnesstraining.live. fitnesstraining.live. That's the best place to get access to things that we can share with people all over the world. And from there, if you're interested in anything else we have, whether it's online programs, you want to get programs for yourself and your family that allow you to follow our methods at home or while you travel, you'll be able to reach us through that link after you sign up for all the good freebies. And then we can tell you everything else we have if you're interested in any of that, such as the home gym system, personal coaching, etc. But for today, this episode, we are covering a topic that is so important. We just haven't talked about it a lot because we've kind of taken it for granted, and it's just not talked about a lot in the fitness realm, as is, say, muscle toning and fat loss and energy increase and body shaping. However, this component is critical to all of that. It's essential. So, as typical forerunners, we are going to shed more light on this topic, and we'll at least do one or two follow-up episodes because we won't be able to get through all layers. What is that called? No pun intended. All layers of the fascia today. So we're going to probably do at least one or two follow-up episodes to go deeper and to help educate more and more about it. So I've got my laptop. You can see on video, I've got my laptop at my side here. On audio, if you want to check out the video, just go to YouTube and search for Wellness and Weight Loss for Women, or you can reach out to us on Facebook and we'll share the links there. And anything that we're showing visibly, which might not be a lot today, we could share with you there as well. Unless you just want to see who Coach Madi is. If you've never seen her before, you can go to the video, see who Coach Madi is, check out who's behind the voice. And that's it. So we're going to get right into it in efforts of keeping this under 30 minutes, I think, is popular. we're going to dig right into it. So I've asked Coach Madi to put together a list of 5 fascia facts for fitness. And she's got a lot of good notes here, so I instructed her to highlight the things that are essentials for us to cover in this first episode, which we really just want to increase awareness about the fascia, let the viewers and listeners know what it is and why it's important to them, and what to be mindful of as they continue forward on their fitness journey, in terms of where does the fascia fit in? What should they be thinking of when they're training, when they're eating, when they're resting, et cetera, when it comes to the fascia and everything it permeates. So let's start with are we going to do our full review page checklist, or how do you want to start this?
So I think while you're talking, I had a thought about how I want to go about it.
Okay.
So to start, the definition of fascia.
Wait a minute, before you get into it, real quick.
Yes.
Anybody new to you who's listening or watching, hey, who's this Coach Madi? What's her story?
Well,
Let's give them the quick summary of Madi's background.
Real quick, I just graduated with my bachelor's degree in exercise science from UNF. Go Ospreys.
University of North Florida.
Yes. And I also, for a little over a year, have been certified in pre- and postnatal exercise. So exercise before, after, and during pregnancy is really what I'm passionate about, which is why the fascia is also very important in those aspects also.
Big time. Right.
Yeah.
Awesome intro. Thank you. All right, so let's get into it.
Yes.
What are we starting with?
So, definition. Layers of fibrous tissue between and around muscles, vessels, and organs. So this tissue is throughout your entire body, toes to head, different from muscle because muscle stops at bone, whereas your fascial connection continues past that bone onto other muscles and parts of the body. You can actually remove it as a whole, almost like a sticky Spider-Man suit. So, fascia plays roles in many aspects of our body. It's all around, all over, intertwined, interconnected
Everywhere.
between everything.
Right.
If you think it's not connected, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Just to name some things it plays a role in: muscle function, injury prevention, nervous system. It can help with things like rheumatoid arthritis.
And when we say it can help with rheumatoid arthritis, we mean if we improve fascial function and fitness, it will help improve symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
In like making the fascia more healthy.
Right. And we'll talk about how to make it more healthy,
Yes.
more fit fascia.
Yes, how to stimulate
Yes.
it, activation, even how you feel emotionally will affect your fascia. Are you stressed? Are you sad? Where are you holding your tension
And you know
at?
why that is? Because it's innervated. There
Yes.
are lots of nerves that run through the fascia
Yes.
by design, and this is part of the new stuff that we're finding
so
out and what
exciting.
functionality it has for us. So go ahead.
And that goes into just the flow of energy throughout your body, the flow of circulation, the flow of just lengthening and getting that movement in. And those are just some quick points to go over. It's really a lot. It's intertwined
Yeah.
in everything.
Yeah. So that's the quick overview. Again, we're going to cover a lot more, but we're going to pick out the strongest points today, and then we'll go deeper on future episodes.
Yes.
So what do we want to start with here?
And so when it comes to, getting more fascial connection, stimulation, how do you know if you're stimulating it, increasing those connections? Well, good ways to start would be always lengthening. So that's a lot where posture comes in, making sure you're not sinking into your muscles, thinking about what's happening all the way from those toes, through those hips, through your shoulders, your core, through the top of the head. A way to activate the fascia is you can always do a little pulsing action. So if you're doing a squat, maybe do some pulse. And obviously decreasing that high intense exercises.
Mm-hmm.
High intensity.
So hold that thought. That we're going to pick up there. So she just triggered something that I want to share. Fascia, being that it permeates the entire body, what most people don't realize when it comes to health and fitness and getting stronger and having better posture and decreasing aches and pains, which a lot of us, even younger than middle age and beyond, becomes something that we want to fix.
Mm-hmm.
What's being found lately, because researchers are looking, is that because fascia is innervated, served by neurons, there are lots of pain receptors there, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is, when people start exercising, even if it's not high intensity, beast mode, all this other stuff that's typical in the mainstream, even if it's gentle the way we do it here, a lot of these aches, pains, and stiffness and tightness go away. Hence people say, I just feel better, right? Mm-hmm. That's part of what they mean. So it's important that we start to now bring this into part of the fitness goals. I want to improve the fitness and health of my fascial system,
Mm-hmm.
in addition to my muscular system, my metabolic system, my immune system. It's all tied together. The fascia, being that it permeates everything, and it's like, it is the glue of the body. We call it the glue of the entire human body. Touches everything. It's important that we're mindful of how we're treating the fascia and training the fascia, because it touches everything, physically, mentally, emotionally. It's all connected.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of layers here, like we were talking about. So I don't want to take you off track. So continue on with where you left off.
Well, those were the three main things I really wanted to talk about with that connection. It's that lengthen, pulsing, and decreasing that high intensity training. The last thing that I wanted to just cover today is that training fascial connections takes time. It could be anywhere from 3 to 9 months, even 6 to 12 months, depending on where you are. It will take time to see those changes and feel it, but it's just because it's so strong of a connection, takes longer to build up. But even though it takes longer to build up, it doesn't take as long to get rid of. So it won't go away as fast.
Right. So another part of what we're talking about here is like taking somebody who's extremely deconditioned,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you think about the person who has been sedentary their whole life, right? It could be they're in their 50s or 60s or 70s. Their fascial system has been dormant.
Mm-hmm.
They've only used it to maybe get up and go to the kitchen, or go out to the car and drive, to go to the doctor's office, to go visit friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
No exercise, no conditioning, no training. So the fascial system, like muscles, has withered away to its bare minimum,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it hasn't had that training and stimulation. So most people, regardless of where they're starting at, even if they've been sedentary, we start reactivating the fascia system in the first session, right? The first session, it starts to get reactivated. We flip the switch back on.
Mm-hmm.
But through gradual progression, that fascial system may take 6, 9, 12 months to get it to its optimum levels, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they've been sedentary how many decades, right? But what's cool is that the initial improvements, and once the switches are flipped on, people can start feeling the benefits of an improved stimulated fascial system within like literally a few weeks. They can feel the benefits.
Mm-hmm.
But the invisible benefits beneath the surface continue for months and months.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts soon, but the progression can happen over a long period of time, where the system continues to improve, get more efficient, get stronger, more pliable.
A good example, I feel like, may be an example on how it may take time for those fascial connections, which goes into my history of being in the pre- and postnatal world, but is one, how fascia can help with scar tissue function. So if you have a scar from a cesarean, you normally you don't have any feeling there, but as you learn to stimulate those fascial connections within that deep core, you can start getting more feeling in that core, and that takes a few months to get there.
Yes.
So it's not instant. You will feel a little more connected and tighter, but when it comes to truly healing, that would be an example where it takes some extra time.
So we have a process of like the brain, body, reconnecting, re-engaging, training itself, right? So how is it that a woman's stomach can expand sometimes to totally flat and tight, to now holding this extra X number of pounds and this other human being inside them, right? This expansion happens because of fascia, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yes, the muscles are involved, they stretch, but what keeps everything still intact, in place, and held up is fascia.
Yes.
And then what allows it to come back is this active fascia, this fascial system. It's that glue. It's connected. So it expands and then it comes back in. The key to having it come back in to its optimal places and training it is to train the fascia by training the body in proper fitness training, right?
Yes.
Not going beast mode, not killing it and then creating these pelvic issues and these pelvic floor problems and creating worse abdominal openings. What is it? Diastasis, recti.
Mindful movement.
Mindful movement, big time. So we talk about this here because for us, this is what we do, right? Personally, we do it, but it's also the methods these are the methods we teach in the studio, in personal training, all of our online videos. You don't have to, and you should not go crazy high intensity to train the fascia. As a matter of fact, and again, we'll go into this in future episodes, what is being found is that as opposed to super high intensity hardcore workouts training the muscles, the fascia is more so stimulated and trained when we move away from the high intensity and we implement other forms of stimuli, which we do here naturally. That is, incorporating isometric parts of the movement, meaning instead of moving through movements really fast, where momentum is what you're not using the weight per se. Isometrics is where you pause in a contracted part of the movement, right? The muscles are engaged. It could be depending on which exercise, it could be in a different, body can be in many different positions. But let's just say we're pulling a band away from its anchored position, right? We're reaching out. Instead of just automatically coming back in, we do a slight pause, and we can make that pause longer sometimes, but that isometric hold where everything's engaged that we're using stimulates fitness of the fascia.
Yes.
Okay, now, on top of that, controlling movement through a range of motion instead of using momentum stimulates fascia fitness. Whereas moving fast, let's say you're swinging a kettlebell really fast through these motions, or you're doing an Olympic lift and you want to try to get as many as possible in 60 seconds. That's not optimally training the fascia, that's actually putting it at risk. That's why a lot of people get hurt. That's why a lot of people feel these injuries that are unexplainable. That's why a lot of people have aches and pains all the time that are not specifically located in one specific area. It's because they're actually beating up the fascia, right? But training with control, right? Removing momentum from the movements and using our body weight or bands or a small accessory to move the musculoskeletal system in a slow, controlled way makes the fascia more involved in that movement and therefore stimulated to become more efficient, more effective, and stronger, right? That goes into what we do. It's a reason why so many people come here and they're skeptical at first, or even online. If they find their materials online or they find my videos, like, well, how is it that this easier way of working out actually feels like I'm doing more and getting better results? It's because you are. It's because we're stimulating various systems of the body to bring about results that most people don't talk about or know about or aren't aware of yet. Right? One of those systems is being the fascia systems. The fascia system, for example, with all the youth sports conditioning we used to do, and we're going to be starting to do again, I would train young athletes of all levels, in addition to the pro golfers, with the gentle methods, right? Body weight training, resistance band training, done properly, slowly, focused, controlled, no momentum, low impact.
Foundation.
Right. They would be baffled. Like, how is it that we're doing this gentle, safe kind of training, Of course, I feel like I'm working when we're doing it, but I don't feel like I'm getting beat up or I'm at risk or I'm like hurting right after. Mm-hmm. And yet my sports performance is off the charts.
Yes.
Like, what gives? Part of that is training of the fascia system. Yes. The fascia system is like this internal, in sports, and of course daily activities, it's like this internal slingshot system.
Yes.
Right? So you take a soccer player, right? You take a baseball player, softball player, lacrosse player, golfer, tennis player, and if you think about the fascia system, this fibrous band, spider web throughout the whole body that also envelops and is part of the muscle system. Like, without the fascia, the muscles don't work, yes. And vice versa, right? So it's like this big, almost like hidden until you know about it, slingshot system. So parents of athletes would say things, and even athletes themselves, if they were a little older, like, this is incredible. Like, we're not doing crazy strength training. We're doing this other stuff. Mm-hmm. And yet, like, I'm crushing the ball, or like I'm hitting it almost out of the park. Or when, you know, I had a pitcher. He was a good pitcher. He was awesome, actually. After several months of training, the parents were like, he's throwing the ball in a way that he never knew he could throw it. And the catcher's like, what the heck? Mm-hmm. Like, that ball is coming into my mitt. I'm like, it hurts. Like, what's he doing? What are you feeding this kid? Right? It wasn't muscular per se. It's more fascia as opposed to the muscle training. That
goes right in hand with this one fact that I wrote down on my paper.
Let's hear it. The fact, the fascia facts.
Muscles transmit up to 40% of their contraction, not because of the tendons around it, but because of the fascial connections by the other muscles that are around it.
There we go. So,
if you need an example, I got
40%. Right?
40%.
Now, think about when we train for it, right? Mm-hmm. When the types of training programs that we're doing are meant to stimulate and improve the function of the fascia and the strength and the pliability, we get at least 40%.
That's a lot.
Maybe more, right? And so that's where this extra sports performance comes in athletes. Now, this is applicable to everybody, even if you don't play a sport. If you're a gardener, if you want to play with your grandkids, you know, you name it. Just daily activities, whatever it is. You want to go ride your bike, you whatever, you name it. Your performance in your entire life gets better.
Yes.
40% at least.
That's a lot.
Just because of the fascia, not because of muscle strength, not because of building muscle tone. This is exactly why I wanted to talk about this today, to let people understand, start becoming aware. What I would like, and I think we would both agree on this, is even beyond this episode, just go do a little research on your own. Google benefits of fascia enhancement, fascia training, latest fascia research. Mm-hmm. Like, that will, don't spend too much time, but just search latest fascia research studies, and you'll start to see, wow, this is something I need to be mindful of and I need to take care of as part of my fitness and wellness program. Yes. And nutrition plays a part of that, because do we know what fascia is made of yet?
Collagen.
Right, very good. So the major component in fascia is collagen. And because of that, we want to be mindful of how we're feeding our bodies so that we optimize collagen production, which, interestingly enough, happens from within the fascia itself via fibroblasts.
Yeah.
The fibroblasts in the fascia itself produce the collagen that becomes the matrix of the fascia. It's incredible. Yeah, it's so awesome when you start to, quote unquote, peel back the layers. But the more you learn, the more you realize, wow, the more I take care of myself properly, the more benefits I'm going to get that I can't even see in the mirror or weigh on a scale or take by body composition. This transcends all of that. This is like multi-dimensional stuff here, right? But it's one of the reasons why people say, I just feel so awesome, I feel fantastic. I'm sleeping better. Has to do with fascia also.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So what else do we have? Do we have anything else that we're going to cover today?
Let's see. I will. This is something I really liked how it was worded. Enemy of fascia is extended bouts of stillness. Your fascia needs daily movement with a wide range of motion without extensive stretching. So you also want to be careful you're not stretching too far,
right?
Because that can be damaging. But just
which actually means like the kind of stretching we do here and that we teach online, totally in the range of improving your fascia. What Maddie's talking about is you have to be really careful if you're still doing extreme gymnastics type training, which can be damaging, and I think a lot of gymnasts will agree. Martial arts, if it's too old school and you're doing overstretching of the body, you're gonna probably have to deal with some fascial injuries or overdoing it for the fascia. But good, proper flexibility training and conditioning is actually what the fascia thrives on, in addition to proper strength training.
Yes, you just don't want to, you don't want to be having that grimace face, that pain face.
Right, like you're tearing something.
Yes, always be able to breathe and listen to your own range of motion.
Right, you want to feel it, but you don't want to feel like you're getting hurt.
Yes.
So
not a competition.
Exactly. And so the other part of the spectrum was not being sedentary. If you're sedentary, you're basically allowing your fascia to deteriorate and just basically shut down and tighten up, which we're not supposed to do that because we're given these awesome human bodies to be able to move.
Yes.
Sedentary makes everything go downhill.
And it's even something as simple as even if you have a desk job, office job, just get up every 30 minutes, 30 seconds, do a little stretch, movement.
Yeah, like so if you're watching on video, I'll get up and make sure my wired mic doesn't come out. You can get up off your chair, right? Look up, reach up, stretch up to the ceiling, get your arms out to the side, reach them back. You could do a squat stretch all the way down, like just as low as you can get. You can even hold onto your desk. So if you're listening on audio and you want to see what I'm doing, maybe Maddie might have a demo or two because she's got a longer wire here. Come over to the video on the Facebook page or go to YouTube and check out the episode on fascia, episode number 13 on wellness and weight loss for women on YouTube. Maddie, give us at least one or two good office break stretches.
Favorite move of all time, no matter what you're doing in the car, need to get up, is you go into a squat wherever your range of motion is at, and then going into that rotation.
Turn, reach, and pivot and stretch.
You are pivoting all the way from those toes, activating those muscles, the calf, the quads, the hamstrings, the glute, the core, reaching all the way through that pinky finger.
Reach it, hold it.
Yes.
Right?
Get in that lean.
Breathe out as you reach. Right? Hold, reach, feel it.
And you're getting a nice stretch all along that diagonal side from that pinky through the arm, through the core, through the leg.
Awesome. One. So as subtle as that is, it's not a full-blown workout, but doing what we just showed you is a bazillion times better than continuing to sit at your desk chair without doing everything. You do that day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. These will benefit you and balance out the effects of a sedentary job, okay? Yes, you want to be doing our other stuff in the other hours off of work, but these are the kinds of things you should be doing at your desk, getting up, taking a break, to keep the body, the fascia system, the musculoskeletal system, the nervous system in tune and awake, okay? Something I just thought of. In addition to searching for latest fascia research studies, also search for images of the fascia system. Search photos or images of fascia or the fascial system. Lines, and check all those images out. And you're going to have to look at a lot of them to get a decent feel for the extent of the fascia system in your body. But once you start seeing it in imagery, it'll start to really hit home how much of your body depends on and relies on and is made of and is touched by the fascia system. So definitely check out the images. Search fascia photos, fascia images, fascia diagrams.
Even if it's just for 5 minutes, you will
just a glimpse. It'll make you think about the inside of your body in a whole new light. And it will make even more sense when you're training with us, or if you're training on your own, local or long distance. It's going to put you in better tune with your body, with the insides of your body. So take advantage of it.
Yes.
Start to learn about yourself and how what you're doing is actually impacting you from the inside out.
Yes, it's all about being mindful.
Absolutely.
Mindful of, you know, what you eat, what you do, how you move. Like when you're sitting in the car, if you're watching TV, if you're sitting at the dinner table, all about being mindful always.
Right. And so if you think, and we all get like this, like even when I sit for long periods of time, we'll get up, or if we're driving somewhere, you feel stiff, right? It's not just the muscles. It's not even really the joints per se. It's the fascia system that's connected to everything, plus those other things together. So when you're doing things, when you're stretching, exercising, walking, whatever, showering and stretching and reaching in the hot water, think about your fascia. Be mindful of the fascia. So is there anything else we want to add before we wrap up, or save the rest for next time?
I think we'll save the rest.
Okay, so very well done. Thank you. We'll wrap up by letting you know we're going to come back with at least one more episode covering fascia. We'll go a little bit deeper into the topic. We'll have some extra tips that we'll show on video, hopefully share some on the audio, on how you can improve the fitness of the fascia, both short-term and long-term. And if you're local here in St. John's, Mandarin, Fleming Island, Orange Park, Nocatee, Ponte Vedra, where any St. Augustine, anywhere close to our location here in St. John's, feel free to reach out. Come try out some sample classes, possibly even a personal training session, because we do that too. If you have a child athlete, a youth athlete, and you want them in better condition for their sport, and reduction of injury and better performance, look us up as well. You can get in direct contact by calling or texting 904-891-3680. You'll probably get Nikki. Or you can come to the Facebook page, search us Sculptafit, SCULPTAFIT, or you can come directly to the website, sculptafit.com. If you're long distance and you want to experience more of this, we got lots of free online materials. We got programs you can purchase if you really want to take your health fitness all the way, and you can even buy our home gym systems as well. Best place to start is with our freebie materials at fitnesstraining.live. That's fitnesstraining.live. And if you're watching this live or after the fact on YouTube, post below in the comments section. Let us know if you have any questions. Let us know if there are any topics you want us to cover in the future. If you want to give any props to Coach Madi here for coming in with all the good fascia info, please do that. Let her know you appreciate it. And I think that's it. Yeah. I think we're done. Wellness and Weight Loss for Women, episode number 13 is in the books, so we're going to shut down the audio. As always, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you here, and we're right on the 32-minute mark. We'll see you next time. So the audio is off. You're still watching on video. We're going to take off our wireless wired mics. And again, we thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this one. Let us know what else you'd like to hear about. And please do share this with somebody.